Hi guys, Miss Berg again. We are going to be doing our combination homework. It's going to be a combination of 10-4 and 10-6. So I am just going to go right on into it. So I'm going to turn my camera around. All right, here we go. So these are multi-step measurement problems. So that is why I'm really going to be doing a lot of these with you. It says a leaky faucet in Jared's home drips 2 cups of water each day. After 2 weeks of dripping, the faucet is fixed. If it dripped the same amount each day, how many quarts of water dripped from Jared's leaky faucet in 2 weeks? Okay, so this is where it's multi-step. Remember, it said 2 cups per day is what it drips. But they said, okay, how about if it was dripping after 2 weeks? Well, 2 weeks when it comes to days needs to be changed. So how many days are in 2 weeks? Well, that would be 14. So therefore, in order to do this, I would have to do 2 cups for each day and times it by 14 days because that's how many days are in 2 weeks. So 14 times 2 is 28 cups. But the problem is it did not ask how many cups of water did it drip. It said how many quarts of water did it drip. So in this case, now I have to change 28 cups to quarts. So which one is bigger, 1 cup or 1 quart? Well, remember, if you remember that G, which is bigger, a quart is definitely bigger because there's 4 cups in a quart. So therefore, this is larger, so this is small. So we are going to spell out sold, which means we are going to divide. And then one of our large, 1 quart has how many cups? Well, how many cups are in a quart? That is 4. So to solve this, I would have to do 28 divided by 4. And that comes out to be 7 quarts. So your answer is 7 quarts in 2 weeks. So now it says, well, what if the faucet dripped for 4 weeks before it was fixed? How many quarts of water would have been leaked? Well, if this was for 2 weeks, and then they want us to know what would be 4 weeks, you could have said, oh, 7 is 2 plus another 7 is another 2. So that would be 4 weeks. You could have said 14 quarts that way, or you could have said 7 times 2, which is still 14 quarts. So that is what you guys will be doing. All right, next. It says a carton of large grade A eggs weighs about 1 5/10 pounds. If a carton holds a dozen eggs, how many ounces does just each egg weigh? That each means 1 egg. So if this weighs this much for 12 eggs, what is just the weight of 1? So that is what it's saying. So in this case, we are going to do, this is right here. So this is what 1 carton weighs. And now we got to change that to ounces. This is in pounds, and then we're going to change it to ounces. So 1 5/10 pounds, because that's what it says. And now it's saying how many ounces would that be? We got to change it to ounces first. So this is your small, this is your large. So we are timesing by 1 pound. equals how many ounces? Well, that would be 16. So to do this, you would do 16 times 1 5/10. So in this case, I would have to say, oh, there's only one number after the decimal. So I'm going to put that over here to remind me to bring that in. Now I just multiply like normal. This would be 30 plus 3. That would be 5 plus 3 more is 8. Now the 5 is done. Bring it on down. Cross out any remainders. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Then this would be 0, 14, carrier 1, and 2. And then I got to move that in one place. So therefore, my answer is 24 ounces. Okay, but then this is how much a carton is 24 ounces. But they want to know what is just one egg, the weight of one egg. So this is the total ounces, and then how many eggs are in a carton? Well, that is 12. So now we got to divide this. How many 12s go into 24? That would be 2. So therefore, it would be 2 ounces per egg. Okay, next one. After each soccer practice, Scott runs 4 sprints of 20 yards each. If he continues this routine, how many practices will it take him to have sprinted a total of 2 miles combined? So it says he runs 4 sprints of 20 yards. So Scott sprints how many yards at each practice? Again, he does 20 yards each, but he does it 4 times. So that would be 0 and 8. That would be 80 yards per practice. Now it says since there are blank yards in 2 miles, well, 1 yard is, 1 mile in yards is 1,760 yards in 1 mile. So, but they want to know 2 miles worth. So we're going to times it by 2. So that would be 0. This would be 12, carrier 1. This would be 14 plus 1 more is 15, carrier 1. This would be 2 plus 1 is 3. So this is actually 3,520 yards in 2 miles that he will continue his routine for how many practices. So now it wants to know how many 80s will go into this. So in this case, can 80 go into 3? No. Can it go into 35? No. Can it go into 352? Yes. So now we just got to guess and check. So I'm going to times it by 5. This would be 0 and 40. That is a little too high. So I'm going to bring it down once. I'm going to try 4 times. That would be 0 and 32. So that's as close as I can get. So that would be a 4. This would be 320. 2 minus 0 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Check it. We are good. So then you bring down your next number. How many 80s will go into 320? That would be 4. That would be 320 with nothing remaining. Your answer is 44 practices. Next, a worker at the mill is loading 5-pound bags of flour into boxes to deliver to a local warehouse. Each box holds 12 bags of flour. If the warehouse orders 3 tons of flour, how many boxes are needed to fulfill the order? Okay, so it says the mill is loading 5-pound bags of flour. Now, into boxes at the warehouse. Each box can hold 12 of these bags. So that is 12 5-pound bags. So one box holds 12 5-pound bags. So therefore, we're going to times that and see how much that comes out to be. That'd be 10, carrier 1. That would be 60. So therefore, it is 60 pounds per box. Okay, so now it is saying if the warehouse orders 3 tons of flour, how many boxes would be needed to fulfill that order? So 3 tons. We're going to have to change this to pounds because that's what we're talking about here. Remember, 1 ton is 2,000. So if I had 3 of them, it would be 3 times 2,000 is 6,000. So now what I got to do is I got to figure out how many of these boxes will go into 6,000. So can 60 go into 6? No. Can it go into 60? Yes, 1 time. Subtract, that'd be 0. Check it. We are good. So I'm going to bring down my next number. How many zeros will go into 0? That is 0. And then this would be 0 with nothing remaining. Check it. We are good. So I can bring down my next 0. How many 60s will go into 0? Again, that is 0 with nothing remaining. My answer is 100 boxes. Okay, next. It says a science teacher collects 18 pints of lake water for a lab that she is teaching. The lab requires each student to use 4 fluid ounces of lake water. If 68 students are participating, how many pints of lake water will the teacher have left over? All right, so it said that she had 18 pints. And it said here that each kid is going to need 4 fluid ounces, but there's going to be 68 kids. And then it wants to know how many pints would end up being left over. All right, so let's first figure out how many fluid ounces total these kids are all going to use. So if there's 68 students and each one is going to use 4, if you do this, that would be 2, 32, so carry your 3, that would be 24, plus 3 is 27. So this is how many ounces, and you want to change it to now pints. So which one is bigger? Well, your pint is larger than an ounce, so you're going to be doing sold. So then in a pint, how many ounces are in a pint? So I'm going to use my one page to help me. How many ounces are in a pint? That would be 8 plus another 8, so that is 16 ounces are in 1 pint. All right, so to figure this out, I would have to divide 272 by 16. Can 16 go into 1? No, but can it go into 27? Yes, that is once. Subtract it. That would be a 1 and a 1. Check it. We are good. So bring down your 2. How many 16s will go into 112? Again, if you don't know where to start at 5. This would be 30. Carry your 3. That would be 80. We still got some more room. So I'm going to go up to maybe 7. That would be 42. Carry your 4. This would be 7 plus 4 is 11. And that is exactly what I wanted. So this would be 7. And that would be nothing remaining. So therefore, they're going to be using 17 pints. But the teacher collected 18 pints. So how much would be left over? You would do 18 minus 17. That would be 1 pint left. Okay, we are not going to go over 5 or 9, but I am going to do the rest of this page. It says when Alina's car moves forward such that each tire makes a full rotation, the car has traveled 72 inches. So how many full rotations will the tires need to make for a car to travel 10 yards. Okay, so in this case, it says to make one full rotation, that is 72 inches. But then they want our answer in like yards. So we need to change this to yards. So which one is bigger, an inch or a yard? Well, a yard is definitely larger. So we're going to be dividing. And then 1 yard equals how many inches? Well, 1 yard is, I'm going to look over here. 1 yard is 36 inches. Okay, so now I'm going to see how many 36 go into 72. So I'm going to try twice. That'd be 12, carry your 1, and that is 6 plus 1 is 7. So that is 2. So 2 yards. So when to make a full rotation, it goes 2 yards. But it wants to know how many times will it take to get to 10 yards. Well, in this case, you would do 10 yards divided by 2 yard rotations. So that would be a total of 5 rotations. Okay, next, a male African elephant weighs 7 tons. If a male African lion at the zoo weighs 1/40th of the weight of an African elephant, how many pounds does the lion weigh? Okay, so in this case, it says 7 tons is what the African elephant weighs. Then a lion weighs 1/40th of that elephant, but it wants to know how many pounds. Well, since this is not talking about pounds yet, we need to change 7 tons to pounds. So this is large to small. So we are timesing. And then remember, 1 ton has 2,000 pounds. So 2,000 times 7 is your 14,000 pounds. Now, we have to figure out what 1/40th of the elephant is. 1/40th of the elephant, which is 14,000 pounds. Remember, the word of means times. So I can put this over 1. Here, I can do this. I'm just going to go across. This would be 14,000 over 40. So now I got to go ahead and divide. Can 40 go into 1? No. Into 14? No. How about into 140? And that would be a yes. So I'm going to try 5. That would be 200. That is too high. So I'm going to bring it on down a little bit. I'm going to try 3. That would be 120. So yeah, that's as close as it's going to get is 120. So when I subtract that, that would be 20 left. Check it. We are good. So bring down your next 0. How many 40s will go into 200? 40 goes into 200 5 times. That would be 200. Subtract, that'd be 0. Check it. You are good. Bring down your next 0. How many 40s will go into 0? That would be 0 with nothing remaining. Your answer is 350 pounds. All right, next it says Darnell rented a moving truck and the weight of the empty truck was 7,860 pounds. When Darnell filled the truck with his items, it now weighs 6 tons. What was the weight in pounds of the items that Darnell placed into the truck? All right, so it said it wants to know the weight in pounds. Well, this one is already in pounds, but this one is not. So therefore, I'm going to have to change 6 tons to pounds real quick. So this is large to small, so I'm timesing again. Remember, 1 ton equals how many pounds? Well, that would be 2,000. So therefore, I would do 2,000 times 6, which would be 12,000 pounds. So Darnell filled the truck with his items. It weighs 12,000 pounds now. What is the weight in pounds of the items that he placed? Well, this was his empty truck. This is what it weighs now. So to figure out what his items weighed, I would have to subtract those two numbers. Zero minus 0 is 0. You can't do that, so you're going to come all the way over here. That would be a 1. This is now a 10, which is now going to be a 9 for this. 10 minus 6 is 4. This would be 1. Then 1 minus 7, you can't do that. So now it's 11 minus 7, which is 4. So it would be 4,140 pounds of items. Okay. Next. Says a local animal shelter, there were 12 small-sized dogs and 5 medium-sized dogs. Every day, these small-sized dogs are given 12 and 5/10 ounces of dry food, and the medium dogs are given 18 ounces of the same dry food. How many pounds of dry food does the shelter serve in just one day? All right, so to solve this, I would have to say, okay, well, there's small dogs and there's medium dogs. Well, to figure out one day's worth, I would first have to see what they get a day. Well, it is 12.5 ounces for the small dogs. So that would be the small. Plus they get 18 ounces for each of the medium ones, which is 5 medium dogs. So just to save some time here, I'm going to come over here, just quickly do the math behind it. With the decimal, how many places are after the decimal? There's just 1. So 5 times 2 is 10, carry your 1. This would be 4 plus 1 is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. Then make sure you bring down your 0, cross out any remainders. Then 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. Then when you add this, that would be 1,000. Oh, sorry, not 1,000. You have to move that decimal over 1. So it's actually 150 ounces. Would be that one. And then here, I'm just going to times this very quickly. That would be 90. So when you add up both of these, 150 plus 90, that would be 240 ounces. But the question said it wanted to know how many pounds that would be. So then you would change this to pounds. So this is small to large, which is dividing. And then 1 pound is 16 ounces. So then you would have to do 240 divided by 16. Just to save time, that comes out to be 15 pounds. All right, I want you just to try number 11 on your own. So try that on your own. All right, so if you did this, it says Gus is painting at his house. He uses 2 quarts of paint per hour. Gus paints for 8 hours. How many gallons of paint did he use? Show your work. So he used 2 quarts per house, but he paints for 2 quarts an hour, but he does it for 8 hours. So therefore that is 2 times 8 is 16 quarts. But then it's wanting to know how many gallons. So then you had to see what 16 quarts was with gallons. So this was small to large, so you're dividing. 16 divided by, and then 1 gallon equals how many quarts? Well, you have this. This is 4 quarts in a gallon. So therefore your answer would have been 4 gallons. Okay. For your homework, you are going to be doing 2, 3. I'm going to do a couple with you. This one says, Coach Kent brings 3 quarts of a sports drink to soccer practice. He gives the same amount of the drink to each of his 16 players. How many ounces of the drink does each player get? So it's saying 3 quarts, and then he's going to divide it amongst 16 players, but he wants to know how many ounces each person is going to get. Well, in order to do that, you should really be changing 3 quarts to ounces. So this is your large to small, so you're timesing. And then 1 quart has how many ounces? Well, if you look here, 1 quart has 8 4 times. So 8 times 4 is 32 ounces. So to figure this out, I'd have to do 32 times 3. So 32 times 3, that would be 96 ounces. So there is 96 ounces that he's going to divide up 16 ways. So now we have to figure out how much each person is going to get. So I'm going to divide this out. Again, if you have no idea where to start, always start in the middle at 5. So that would be 30, carry your 3. That is 5 plus 3 is 80. So that is super close by just 1 more 16. So if you did this, so it would be 36, carry your 3. This would be 6 plus 3 is 9. So therefore that is 6, which is 96 with 0 remaining. So then it would be 6 ounces per person. So 6 ounces per player. All right, next. It says Leslie needs 324 inches of fringe to help around the edge of the tablecloth. The fringe comes in lengths that are 10 yards. So Leslie wants to buy 1 package of fringe. How many feet of fringe will she have left over? All right, so here's the issue. They are wanting feet as the answer. So what we need to do is we need to change all of this to feet first in order to do this. Well, to save some time, I'll just tell you, if you changed this to inches, you would have had to divide it by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. If you did that, that would be 27 feet would be that much fringe. Then how do you figure out yards to feet? Well, in this case, you would have to times by 3 because there's 3 feet in a yard. So that would be 30 feet. So in order to do this, you would do 30 minus 27. That would be 3 feet left. Okay, we are not going to do 6. We'll go over number 7 though. A pitcher contains 40 fluid ounces of iced tea. Shelby pours 3 cups of iced tea. How many pints of iced tea are left in this pitcher? All right, so first it says she's going to pour out 3 cups. Well, what we should do is we should change 40 fluid ounces, 40 ounces to cups first. All right, so how many cups is that? Well, 1 cup is 8 ounces. So to do this, you would divide 40 divided by 8. How many 8s go into 40? That would be 5 cups. Well, she's going to pour out 3 cups. So 5 minus 3 is 2 cups left. Well, it's saying how many pints are now left. So 2 cups are now going to be changed to pints. Well, 2 cups is how many pints? That is just 1 pint. So therefore your answer is 1 pint is left. You will have 8 for homework. On the back, you are just going to do 3, 4, 5, and 6. Real quick, I'm going to do this one with you. It says Brady buys 3 gallons of fertilizer for his for his lawn. After he finishes spraying the lawn, he has 1 quart of fertilizer left over. How many quarts of fertilizer did he spray on the lawn? All right, so we're going to do 3 gallons. And then they're saying that only 1 quart was left over. So let's change this to quarts. So in this case, this is large to small. So we are timesing. And then 1 gallon has how many quarts? Well, that is 4. So 4 times 3 is 12 quarts are in 3 gallons. But it said he only had 1 quart left. So 12 minus 1 is 11 quarts is what he sprayed. Okay, and that is the answer to that one. Now I'm going to go over to 10.6. I'm going to make this really brief because I only a few questions on this one, and it's not even on this page. You're going to go to the next one. Okay, on this one, we're going to go over this. It's saying that Sharon is working on an art project, and she needs to cut strips of wood that are each 1 decimeter long for a project. If Sharon uses 7 strips of wood that are 1 meter long, how many 1 decimeter strips can she cut from it? All right, so she has 7 strips that are 1 meter. Well, 7 1 meters is 7 meters. And then they want you to see how many decimeters that is. Okay, so we are going to use King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk here. So again, this is just 1M. So remember 1M is your base. So this is where you're going to start. And then this is your deciliter, not deciliter. So therefore it is going to be this one. You're going to end here. So you're going to move your decimal to the right 1 place. So where does your decimal begin? It is at the end if it's not given to you. And now you're going to move it 1 place to the right. So then this would be 70 decimeters. All right, next, I'm just going to do just these 3, and then I'm going to go into your homework on the next after this. So Eduardo has a cooler, a drink cooler that holds 10 gallons of water. He is filling the cooler with 1 quart container. How many times will it take? Will he have to fill that quart container to fill up a cooler? So first it's saying to make a a table if you would like to figure this out. So in this case, 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So he would have to fill it up 4 times to get 1 gallon. So if he had 2 gallons, that would be another 4. So that would be 8. And if we kept seeing this way, you're going by 4. So this one would be 12. And then this would be 16. But the issue is they're going to skip a whole bunch of numbers in between here. So we got to figure out what is the rule going from 1 to 4, 2 to 8, 3 to 12. Well, the rule is taking the gallons and timesing it by 4 to get your quarts. So in order to figure out what 10 gallons would be, is you would do the same, which is taking the 10 gallons and timesing it by 4. And that is telling you that is 40 quarts. So therefore, he would have to fill it 40 times. All right, if Eduardo fills the cooler with only 32 quarts of water, how can he use your table to find how many gallons that is? All right, so it is saying gallons versus quarts again. We already talked about this. So remember, if this way is timesing by 4, but now the thing is they went dot, 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 dot. Now they're saying it's going to be 32 in the quarts. So how do I go and reverse that to figure out what this is? Well, what is the reverse of timesing by 4? It would be dividing by 4. So 32 divided by 4 would be 8. So therefore, 32 divided by 4 equals 8. So your answer would be 8 gallons in that case. Okay, next, how would the number of times Eduardo uses the container to fill the 10-gallon cooler change if he just used a cup container? And explain. All right, so now they're taking 10 gallons and now he's just going to be using a cup. So in order to do this, you would do a large to a small. So therefore 1 gallon is how many cups? So if you look at this, inside 1 gallon, how many cups is that? Well, this is 4 plus another 4 plus another 4 plus another 4, or 4 times 4, which is 16 cups. So therefore, in this case, to solve this, I would have to go ahead and do 10 times 16. So 10 times 16 comes out to be 160 cups. Okay. And then if you wanted to look, it would have taken him 40 quarts, but compared it to this, that would be 4 times as much work. So 4 times the amount of work. Because 40 times 4 will get you your 160. Okay, now I'm just going to give you the rest of your homework for this. So you are going to do 2 and 3. I'm just going to quickly help you with this. It says Paulina works out with a 2 5/10 kilograms mass. What is the mass of 2 5/10 kilograms in grams? So what it's truly saying, I know it's very wordy. What it is saying is if it's 2 5/10 kilograms, how many grams is that? That is what it's truly saying. So please make sure you are showing the work on how to do that. Next, it says Alex lives 500 yards from the park. How many inches does Alex live from the park? So again, it's saying 500 yards. And you're changing this to inches. Now, just to save you some time, if you are going yards to inches, so 1 yard in inches I have that here just in case you guys can't find it. It is 36 inches in 1 yard. So we are going to figure out what 500 yards is. So keep that in mind. You are not done solving that though. So make sure you figure that out. We are going to do number 4 real quick. It says a flatbed truck is loaded with 7,000 pounds of bricks. How many tons of bricks are on that truck? So it's saying 7,000 pounds. We are going to change it to tons. So we're going to change pounds to tons. So in this case, this is your large, this is your small, so you would divide. And then 1 ton equals how many pounds? Well, that is 2,000. So to solve this, I would have to do 7,000 divided by 2,000. Okay, so 2,000 cannot go into 7, it cannot go into 70, and it can't go into 700, but it can go into 7,000. It can go in 3 times, because 3 times 2 is 6,000. So that would be 1,000 left over. So in this case, your answer would have been 3 and then 1,000 over 2,000, which I know that's very big. You could have actually crossed out all these zeros because they would have canceled each other out. So you could have also said it would have been 3.5 tons. And then on the back of this, the only things you will have to do is you are going to do actually all the rest of this page. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then that is it for the combination homework of 10.4 and 10.6. So make sure that you are posting both pictures of both the front and the back of 10.4 and the front and the back of 10.6 to get your full points for that. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.